How have the needs of the districts been represented in the legislation related to coronavirus over the past couple of weeks? Since the pandemic began, I have seen you take stances on privacy, supply shortages, nursing home deaths. So I guess why were those the issues you chose to work with, and how are they being represented
Well,
now?
you mentioned the issues that I care about, but I think one of the most important things about the district has been the cooperation between the state senators and representatives, the county, the city of Evanston. The mayor I've been on a lot of phone calls with him, and the governor, because unfortunately there's been, I was going to say zero leadership, actually um, leadership in the wrong direction at the federal level, that I think has not only prolonging the agony of COVID-19 for so many people and for our country, but has actually cost lives. So I think at the state and local level, that we're doing a really good job. I'm also happy with a federal bill that did pass, the HEROES Act, that puts lots of money into state and local government, but also addressed a number of my concerns, including some of the nursing home provisions that are in there that will, I hope, end up making them not the hot spots that they are right now. But it's just been unbelievable to see what the lack of federal leadership has brought. And I am very fearful that it's could still get worse before it gets better.
So Northwestern students have not been in the district for the past couple of months, since March. How would you say the absence of students has affected the area, and maybe how you represent the district?
The absence of students, of course, changes, as everything else has too, the nature and personality and priorities of our community. So it's been weird all around.
In what way would you say it's changed the personality of the community?
You know, Northwestern is a major institution and influence. You know, if you go to downtown Evanston or you go to restaurants, which of course we don't do now, you know, so many things happening. I often meet with representatives of Northwestern talking about the priorities of things that we should pass. And now everything is very much coronavirus focused. And so a lot of that has really changed. And it's really sad.
The question on the minds of a lot of us right now is whether we'll be able to go back to school in the fall. So I was just wondering if there are specific steps or markers that you would like to see in order to feel confident about Northwestern opening for the fall quarter.
Well, you know, the governor has actually laid out some different benchmarks, not dates, but what things should look like, um, and what the numbers ought to show. In Illinois, we have seen, I haven't seen today actually, but I know yesterday the numbers actually went down of the number of people who contracted the virus and were proved to be positive. And so that's my guidepost. I'm going to follow those things. The lakefront in Chicago, anyway, is still shut down. Those are the kinds of things that make me really sad. But I get it. You know, we don't want people crowding and playing volleyball or, you know, running into each other on the bike paths or the jogging paths. And so it makes it all the much harder.
Some college students, I guess, have been disappointed that we didn't qualify for payments under some of the earlier coronavirus stimulus bills. So I guess what was your take on that? And then are there plans to include college students in more legislation as we head into the summer?
Yes, I think there were a number of things that we really wanted to do and will do going forward. The only thing we did was to extend a little bit of debt relief, and I think we have to do a lot more. That's true of things like sick leave and childcare. Kind of big holes in the even the new legislation. But we're trying to really just drill down on the virus. But of course, the virus is responsible for the fact that you're home, you're doing your best to continue your education, and you're left in limbo. There is wide, um, not just interest, but commitment. I mean, be stronger in doing providing some relief. We did get college students that are 17 to be included in getting, as dependents, getting the checks that are going to be coming. But it really is a hole, I think, in the legislation that's been passed thus far to deal effectively with what is a national crisis. It really is. And so I'm listening carefully to you and your emphasis on this concern, and I've made it my own as well.
I guess with that, that's actually all the specific questions that I had for you this morning. Is there anything else that you'd like to add or emphasize before I let you go?
Just two things. One, the census. It's been very low in terms of participation here in the Chicago area. We have so many mixed status families, people afraid to put their name to anything. Undocumented people need to be counted. And why? Because billions and billions of dollars that go to communities are based on the population. And that lasts for 10 years. And the information gathered by the census is by law completely held secret for decades. There are severe jail sentences for anyone who would violate that. So people don't have to worry that if they if they include themselves in the census, that suddenly ICE or something is going to come. That is not going to happen. And the second thing I want to say is that elections really matter. And we have seen that in a dramatic way, particularly right now, that the leadership of this country, it matters who is making the decisions. So I am hoping that everyone will vote, will support whatever state you may be in, getting universal vote by mail, so that people don't have to risk their health, or if they have disabilities, make it easy. Everybody should have the right to vote. November 3rd is going to determine your future, probably more than anything we could do in a piece of legislation. And so it's very important to vote.
Well, thank
So
you.
that's my message.
Thank you for that. And thank you again so much for speaking with me this morning. This was really informative and helpful. So thank
Thank you. You did a great job. Thank you. And to all the students, we are looking forward to welcoming you back to Evanston.